Today we're covering a case that left a permanent scar on the community of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The horrific crimes of Sean Vincent Gillis. This is Hold My Sweet Tea. Hey everybody, I'm Holly.
And I'm Pearl.
And welcome to Hold My Sweet Tea.
Yeah, we have some new listeners.
Yes, we do.
Well, I say new listeners in new countries.
Yes, we're so excited about that. New countries. Yay!
Yeah. So we got one in Singapore.
Hawaiian.
And then we have one in France. So, bienvenue au podcast.
Yes. We learned that just for y'all. I hope my Mandarin Chinese was good enough there. I was hoping that's how you pronounce it. Hawaiian. Welcome.
Right. I know. I was like, we live in Louisiana, so all of our welcome signs say bienvenue
Yep.
on them.
Sure does. Lots of French culture here.
Yeah. So that's more common and less need to figure out. But I was like, hey, what's the French word for podcast?
Right.
Surprise. Podcast.
Podcast. Just podcast. I'm not sure what the Mandarin word is, but, you know.
Yeah,
We'll see.
when I took French in high school, podcasting wasn't a thing.
Right.
So didn't learn that one. My grandpa didn't teach me that either because
Right.
like my family is French.
Mm-hmm.
But nope. So that was one I had to check out.
Had to kind of check it.
Check it, Tammy.
Right.
A little
Yeah.
throwback.
Throwback to the Beatrice case. And thank you guys. We are like already on 2 of our stories. We've hit 200 downloads on those. So we are so happy. We're just waiting for the rest of them to get there. But
Yeah.
we're growing slowly, but we're growing. So, you know, make sure
Yeah.
y'all are sharing. And if you are our listener in Singapore and France, give us a holler.
Yeah. In your language, it's fine.
Yes.
We'll figure
it's
it
fine.
out.
We'll translate. We have Google.
We do.
We have it all.
Then I'll apologize if we type back and Google translate something wrong.
Right.
Oops.
Oops, sorry.
I don't want to steal your mom's duck.
Right. Not at all.
That would be my luck.
I don't have a place for a duck. Sorry.
No, me either. You're like, this duck can live in my bathtub, I guess.
Right, I guess. I have 2 bathtubs. I guess you can take one.
Right. Oh my gosh. So this week, we've decided to be in a good old BR,
Yes.
the Red Stick, and do some serial killers there. So at least
Yeah.
we're back in Louisiana, but not in
Mhm.
New Orleans, because I know we live there a lot.
Right. We live there a lot because we
Yeah.
live there.
So the fun thing about this, and maybe it's not that
Mhm.
fun, is I know I worked in Baton Rouge
Mm-hmm.
when all this stuff happened.
Yeah.
Didn't live there.
But we lived adjacent. Like, it was right
Yeah.
there. And actually, some of your guy,
was
one of his victims was in Denham Springs, Louisiana. But these 2 guys were on a killing spree together. Not together.
Not together,
but at the
together,
same
yeah.
time.
about the same time. Yeah. So
Yes.
basically what happened was Derek Todd Lee, I think they had just like arrested him,
Mm-hmm.
and the task force that they had assembled
Yes.
to catch him, there was some like left behind people for that because they were still doing stuff for court purposes and stuff
Right.
like prepping for trial
Mm-hmm.
and all that fun jazz, that they ended up having to like kind of come back to and be like, hey, can you help us with this? Because now we got more dead women,
Right.
even though he's locked up.
Yep, he's locked up. We have dead
So.
women, and they did take some DNA from these other women that did not
Mhm.
match Derek Todd Lee.
Correct.
So then they're like, okay,
This
so
is someone
now we're
else.
looking for somebody else.
Yep.
And that somebody is Sean Vincent Gillis. That's who I am doing today.
It was a terrifying time, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You think, whew, they caught one.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Here's another.
Here's another. There's more people out there killing women in Baton Rouge.
But
just
wait,
all over
there's
the
more.
place. Yeah. I think there wasn't a third.
A third one, yes.
And I don't recall his name at the moment.
Me
but,
either. Maybe that's something.
Yeah, we'll
Is
look
yours
into.
going to be just a one-parter?
Yeah, mine's going to be a one-parter. I know you're going to do two, so maybe you
I was
can.
going to say maybe you can look at the other one and see.
And then I'll do that one
Yeah.
as well. So
Yeah,
yeah,
'cause mine's definitely going to be two pieces.
Yes. So, like I said, mine is Sean Vincent Gillis.
The other.
Yes, he is known as the other Baton Rouge serial killer. I'm like, he could have BTK'd it and gave himself a name at least.
Right, something. I mean, that was like the least creative thing ever.
Right.
But I was like, okay.
But kind of like BTK, he did a lot of the same things.
Mm.
He would strangle, he would torture, kill, mutilate after the fact. He did a lot of that. So he was raunchy. He was nasty with his crimes and stuff. But he ended up killing 8 women in and around the Baton Rouge area between 1994 and 2004.
Yeah, so his was like a longer. I know they overlapped, but it was like they didn't start discovering all these other murders until after.
And, his first one, there was a 5-year gap between his first one and his second one, and then he just ran with it after that.
Just went crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he was crazy already.
Right. Like in his early life, on the surface, it didn't scream like, future serial killer here or anything. Because he had
like
a pretty
animal
normal,
killing or anything crazy
none
like
of that. So he was born June 24th, cancer, 1962. He was raised in South Louisiana by his mother, Yvonne, and his grandparents. His father, Norman Gillis, had abandoned the family soon after Sean was born.
So he got daddy issues.
Yeah, so he does have the daddy issues. Interestingly, though, his father reportedly struggled with mental health issues. So maybe it was something that was passed down because that can happen. And he was in and out of institutions.
Well, his dad was?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So Sean didn't even see his father again until he was 17. And this was about the time that his criminal record began with minor infractions.
Okay.
There was theft. There was just angsty 17-year-old stuff going on. His mother, Yvonne, by all accounts, was like very good to him. She loved him deeply. Sean even had close friends in his youth, one describing him as smart, respectful, humorous. They always said he was like this funny guy. Easy to get along with, all that stuff.
Cancer.
Yeah, right. Like he was just great.
Cancer gets along with everyone.
Right. They have that, oh, you can come to me and talk to me about anything type.
Absolutely. Even if you don't know
attitude.
me.
Right.
See me in the grocery and you're like, hey, my mom, and I'm standing there going, why is this person telling me about their mother?
Right.
They don't even know my name.
But they're like, I feel like I can talk to you.
I don't know your name. I was just looking for some spaghetti sauce.
Do you happen to know where the meatballs are?
Or the one time there was a man who was like standing next to me and I'm looking at vitamins and he's like, do you know where the enemas are? It's not for me. But do you know where they are?
He had to throw that in. Then why are you asking me?
I'm like, first of all, I don't work here.
Right? You don't work here, sir.
Secondly, you're standing in front of them.
Right. If you would have just looked. Is that a pickup line?
Right.
Oh my gosh. That's hilarious. But yes, cancers are very friendly and very,
Approachable people.
smart, funny people. So he attended Redemptorist High School in Baton Rouge. He graduated, even went on to attend community college. And this was what I thought was funny. He got his certification in computers. And I'm like, what does that even mean today? It doesn't mean anything. So basically back then when you got your certificate in computers, you learn how to use a computer pretty much, or maybe work on them a little bit.
You learned how to work on them and
completely different now.
Figure some stuff out. Yeah.
Right.
No, now it's a degree in IT.
Yes. So for a decade, from his early 20s to early 30s, he lived with his mother, and to his early 30s, he lived with his mother until she moved to Atlanta for work.
So she moved out of her house with her son.
Right. She's like, I'm going to go to Atlanta. Well, he didn't want to go.
So mom launched, but he didn't.
Right. So he chose to stay in Louisiana, receiving financial support from his mother.
Oh, my goodness.
Even then. So she was still sending money, paying his rent, doing all that stuff while she went to Atlanta. However, beneath this seemingly ordinary facade, there were hints of something darker. Did you hear Andrew in my voice?
Yes.
If y'all haven't listened to Andrew on TikTok, go listen. Well, his mother didn't see it, and most mothers don't. They're not going to go, I think my son's a serial killer. Others described Sean as prone to fits of anger. He got frustrated often. He got very frustrated about not having a girlfriend. So he was, lashing out, doing these things. And his friends could see it, but his mother could. His criminal record, like I said, began when he was 17 in 1980. And he had trespassing also on there. Over the years, this small little thing escalated into traffic citations, DUIs, possession of marijuana.
Druggies.
Right.
Hey, newsflash, guys. If you live with your mom into your 30s, you're probably not going to have a girlfriend.
Right. I live with my mom.
Like, don't get mad.
Right.
Move out.
Exactly. But nothing in these early brushes with the law could have predicted the monstrous path he could take. You might have thought, he's just going to get put in jail for some criminal activity.
Something silly, stupid.
Not being, his descent into serial murderness.
Right.
So this began in March of 1994. So within this time period that he was doing all of this stuff, he engaged in sexual assault, mutilation, dismemberment, even cannibalism of his victims. He wanted to see what they tasted like. He said he didn't like it a lot, but
he did it anyway.
He wanted to see. He often photographed his gruesome acts. He kept body parts as souvenirs, and just all of this grossness happening. So his first victim was March of 1994. Her name was Anne Bryan. She was 82 years old, and she lived in an exclusive retirement home community called St. James Place.
Yeah, very, very familiar with St. James Place. I worked for a cleaning company that cleaned some of the places that when residents would move out of those areas.
So you had to go in
or
and
if they
clean
passed
them.
away or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
We would go clean the empty room before anybody else moved in. And one of my employees' vacuums caught on fire in there.
Maybe it was Anne Bryan. She was like,
right.
Catch on fire.
It wasn't in 1994.
No.
Definitely not, because I was 14.
Right. This was way after that.
I didn't work until the next year.
Right.
And I didn't work there. So,
but he had entered her residence with the intention to rape her. She was 82.
My goodness gracious. 82-year-old, and you're going to be like, you know what?
You know what, that retirement.
And his thoughts are probably just she'd be easy to overpower.
Right, and that's what he figured. But he didn't, figured that she would start screaming at the top of her lungs. So this became a thing of like, oh my gosh, what do I do? So he slit her throat and he stabbed her 50 times. So I guess it was just more of a like, oh my gosh, like I have to, I have to kill her.
Mm-hmm. Got to shut her up.
Yeah. And when he slit her throat, like she was almost decapitated when they discovered her body. So
yes, she definitely stopped screaming at that point. Why did he continue?
He just kept stabbing.
Like he just went on a whole...
Yeah. And then sexually assaulted her body.
So he necrophilia.
Yeah.
Is what happened.
Yeah.
Okay. So add that to your list.
Yeah. So ew. So then this was, okay, so his first one was March of 1994. So then he didn't kill again until January of 1999. So he took a little hiatus there.
He must have got a girlfriend.
Maybe. Actually, he did later on. So this was his second victim. Her name was Catherine Ann Hall. She was 29 years old. Now, Catherine was a lady of the night. She was a prostitute. She had to get her money somewhere. But that doesn't mean
she's less important.
Right, less important, and you should go kill her.
Right.
So Gillis lured her into his car, promising to pay her for oral sex. So when she got into the car and she started doing that, he strangled her with a zip tie. Like, there's no release off that. Like, with a zip tie. That's horrible. He stabbed her. He sexually assaulted her body. And I guess part of his sick sense of humor, when he dumped her body and the police found her, he had placed her, like, sprawled out under a dead-end sign on a road.
What a jackass.
Yeah. So, but in her mouth, they found a pubic hair with a root attached.
Even better.
Yes. So they were like, DNA.
Yeah.
So, and this was still in like 1999. Yes, DNA, still not as advanced, but it was there.
It's enough to work with, yeah.
So they ran it through CODIS, but there was no match for a previous offender because
he didn't do anything like this before.
Right. He had only had minor infractions, so there was no like DNA taken of him.
Right.
Or anything like that. So then, this was January, so then we move on to May of 1999. His third victim was Hardy Schmidt. Sorry. It was Schmidt. 52 years old. I had a teacher with the last name Schmidt. I should know that.
My dad's favorite girlfriend. Well, my dad's girlfriend that is my favorite. It is not his favorite, obviously. They broke up.
Right.
But my favorite.
Of his girlfriends.
Of his girlfriends. Her last name was Schmidt.
Nice. So he stalked Hardy for 3 weeks. He was watching her routine because she would like to go jog over there by the LSU lakes. Mm-hmm. Really pretty area and everything. Yeah. Really nice houses over there. So she would go and run. So he was watching her routine, seeing what she did. So
yeah, it's one of those places I feel like everybody feels pretty safe.
So it was like around 5-something in the morning. Mm-hmm. Not a lot of people around at all. Hardy Schmidt went out for her run. Gillis struck her with his car while she was jogging, knocking her into a ditch. From there, he went down the ditch, got her tied a zip tie around her neck, like he did with the previous one. And he put some plastic wrap around there too, like he had around her neck. He put her in the car. He drove her to an isolated area where he sexually assaulted and killed her. He placed her body in a trunk, kind of like the trunk murders. He put her in a trunk and then put it in his car, his white Chevy Cavalier, for 2 days.
Oh.
Drove around with her body in there.
In this sweltering Louisiana.
Yes.
Gross.
In May.
Yeah.
Yuck.
It's already freaking nasty out.
And then he dumped her body in Bayou St. James Parish. Or
how did nobody go by that car and still smell that?
Right. Oh, yeah. like a few hours after, you're going to start
It's
stinking
humid
in
and
this
gross
heat.
out here.
Absolutely. So yeah, that was St. James Parish in a bayou. Sorry. St. James Place and St. James Parish. Like, weird.
Yeah, interesting.
So his next victim was January of 2000. And he was like really on a roll then. He was like, okay, so here we go. Joyce Williams. She was 36 years old. He, it seemed to be zip ties was his thing. So he killed her, zip ties around the neck. He took her body to his house. So he was dating his girlfriend at the time. She lived with him, but she worked at a convenience store on the night shift. She didn't drive. So he had to take her to work and back.
So no chance she's going to pop in.
So no chance she was going to pop in. So he killed Joyce Williams, strangled her, mutilated her, all that stuff, brought her body to his home, and reportedly ate parts of her. And then when they found her later, like her bones and stuff had saw marks where he had like been, sawing parts off and stuff. Like, just disgusting.
Is this the one he showers?
No, this is the next one.
Oh, the next.
Same
didn't
month.
realize he brought two home.
Yes.
Okay.
Same month, same year. So that's what I said. He was on a roll. He was like, boom, boom. He got another one. Lillian Robinson, also known as Lillian Gorgum Robinson, 52 years old. He killed her. He took her body to his home where he showered with her corpse.
Yeah.
And cleaned her off. Like, again, his girlfriend's at work, so...
I'm wondering, was it like a fantasy situation?
I think...
Or was he... Because I don't feel like... Or was he trying to erase evidence?
No, it was a fantasy thing for him.
Okay.
It was him. It was in his head, and he was like, we're going to shower together. So when I was watching a lot of the documentaries on this, his girlfriend said that they didn't have sex together. He didn't want to. It was a very platonic, like, relationship. They lived together. They slept in the same bed together. They did not have a sexual relationship.
Okay.
Yeah. So then in October of 2000, Marilyn Nevels, 38 years old, she was killed in a similar fashion, with Gillis taking her body to his house, showering with her corpse, and then he left it on the levee in Baton Rouge. So again...
So he showered with two of them.
3 of them to his house. So, like, he was bringing them in. So then 3 years later, October 2003, this is where he killed Johnny Mae Williams. Now, he knew Johnny Mae Williams.
Oh.
He had previously worked with her. He knew who she was. She was 45 years old. He killed her with a zip tie. He also took parts of her body as souvenirs. He removed both of her hands at the wrist. So, like, I guess to think, like, oh, I'm going to take her hands off. They won't be able to identify her body or something. Yeah. Don't know. But at this point, he's just running around doing all kinds of nasty stuff. And not like getting
randomly
caught.
Weird things.
Right. But then this is where,
I'm wondering if he didn't do some of this weird stuff. Like, he's trying to throw him off. Like,
right.
This isn't the same guy because this happened different.
Right. And
but
this happened,
the strangulation with zip ties makes it pretty obvious.
Yeah. It's the zip ties. Like, that was his thing that he used because it was easy. He didn't have to, like, put a rope around their neck or something and then lose grip or something like that.
That doesn't require him to be a strong man. He just has to be able to tighten the zip tie.
Yep, because there's no letting up with that. It's there. It's stuck at that position. So then his last victim, February of 2004, Donna Bennett Johnston, 43 years old. So Gillis raped and strangled her with a nylon tie wrap. Maybe he ran out of zip ties.
Right.
Don't know.
Wasn't prepared.
Yes. He mutilated her body post-mortem, including slashing her breast, removing one of her nipples, gouging out a tattoo, and severing an arm. This is the one he said that in his interview, the back of the tattoo had fat on it, and he wanted to know what it tasted like. He said it didn't taste very good, but I tried it anyway. Like, just matter-of-factly said it like that in the police interrogation when he was confessing to everything.
Yeah, like, there's nothing strange about that at all.
So only 3 of these women they had his DNA from. So they knew that this guy had killed 3 women. At least. They had this matching DNA, but again, nobody matched it because he had never gotten into trouble.
Right, no person. I got you.
So, he got a little sloppy. He left a tire mark.
Oh.
When he dumped a body. So, going back to Donna Bennett, though, he took like 50 pictures of her while she was being mutilated and all the stuff he did to her. He took all these pictures to keep as souvenirs so he could, get pleasure from, looking at them and remembering and
was
all
that stuff, found when they arrested him?
Yeah, when they went through all of his stuff, they found body parts, they found pictures, little souvenirs here and there of all the stuff.
Gotcha.
So in April of 2004, like I said, the tire tracks were found near the body of Donna Bennett Johnson. This tire was sold in the Baton Rouge area, and only about 90 of them were purchased. So
that's a small pool considering what it could have been.
Yes. So they got on it, police were on it. They said, they were daily going, did anybody find this person? Did anybody find this person? So they were, State Crime Lab was on it, trying to find every single person, going to find where this person lives, ask them questions and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So they were able to narrow it down when they found that this particular tire was it was only manufactured within a 3-year period. So that's why there were so few sold.
Mm-hmm.
Gillis happened to be one of the people who bought this tire. So there we go. So they went to his home. They heard some noise because they went up to the front door. There was nobody answering. They heard a noise from around the back of the house. So they walked around. They were like, hey, we were looking to see, if anybody was home. And he's like, oh, hey, he just talks to him like a normal person.
Like he ain't even scared.
Nothing to do with anything. So they asked him some questions. They asked him about the tires. They were like, hey, we're trying to investigate something. We found some tire tracks and all this stuff. Do you know this person? So that's, when they ask him if he knew Donna Bennett Johnson, he's like, no, I don't think I knew that. Well, have you been in this area at all? And he's like, yeah, I was in that area. I had turned around right there and all that stuff. So
he put himself there.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yes. So they asked him some more questions, and they asked him if he would voluntarily give a DNA sample. Sure. Here you go.
Because he doesn't think he left anything.
Not at all. He's like, they don't have anything on me. It's been all these years. They don't have anything. So they asked him if he would come down to the police station so they could ask a few more questions, so they could kind of keep him there and everything. So they asked. So the sample was a match to the evidence found on some of the victims' bodies. They went after they had asked him questions because it took a while for it to come back from the lab.
Sure.
But they were trying to get
they
it
were just
fast
wasting
as possible.
Time.
Right. So he had gone back home. His girlfriend at the time said that he never went to bed the same time she did. And that night, he called her his snuggle bunny. He wanted to go to bed at the same time as her. So I think he knew it was coming. So police pounded on the door, came in, and she's like, what's going on? And they were like, do you know that you're living with a serial killer?
I mean, like, if I did know,
right,
would I be living here?
Now, I also read that he had shown her because he was, he liked pornography. He liked some pornography that had situations where women were tied up or things happening to them, like that type of situation.
Mm-hmm.
He had shown her
Like almost
pictures
snuffy?
and things. Yeah, like snuff film. Yeah. He had shown her pictures and videos and things of stuff like that, and she's like, I don't want to see that. But it never occurred to her that he was out there doing this stuff to women.
Or just sit there and go, why the hell do you want to see stuff like that? That's messed
What's
up.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
So she really just never questioned it.
Yeah.
So,
it's one thing to be into, to have your kinks, and I don't kink shame people.
No.
But I think when you start getting to like
cross that line,
snuff film type stuff, that is a line. Yeah. A really ugly line.
Very ugly. Gillis was taken into police custody on April 29th, 2004. While in custody, he just kind of started sharing all the ghastly details as he confessed to these murders. And by that time, they had come back and matched to 3. Well, then 3 turned into 8.
Let me tell you about the rest of these.
Right. So,
that's mine too.
Yeah, that's mine. Oh, no, that's mine. I killed her. Yep. So soon after his arrest, he had correspondence with a friend of his, and he said, I'm still puzzled over the post-mortem dismemberment and cutting. I really don't know what the hell is wrong with me.
That's the part that bothered you?
Right.
That you did more stuff to them after they were dead.
Yeah. But not the cutting and all
not
that
the
stuff.
Killing them initially.
And dismembering. I just don't know what the hell's wrong with me.
Wow.
Yeah. Crazy stuff. But like, these are the minds of just
their minds ain't right already.
Not at all. In August of 2007, in West Baton Rouge Parish, Gillis pled guilty to second-degree murder for killing Williams. He received a life sentence. Gillis was put on trial in East Baton Rouge Parish for killing Johnston. However, the judge did not allow Gillis's taped confessions to be presented in court during his trial. Gillis had requested an attorney during the interview, but was not provided with a lawyer because he continued to talk to investigators. Like, he couldn't keep his mouth shut. After that, he was like, let me tell you everything.
And I don't think that that's the fault of the investigator. Like, if he's going to keep talking, he's going to keep talking.
Right.
Like, that's not your fault. You told him he could have one.
Yeah. And he said,
he asked for one and then still talked.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, well, then I still think it's very valid.
Yeah.
We'll let the attorney get here when he gets here, and he can tell you to shut up, I guess.
Right.
You know?
You do have the right to remain silent. But on July 25th of 2008, Gillis was found guilty of first-degree murder. The jury deadlocked on the death penalty a week later, so the judge handed Gillis another life sentence. On February 17th of 2009, Gillis was once again sentenced to life after pleading guilty to the first-degree murder of Neville's in Lafayette Parish. Gillis wasn't tried or sentenced for any other murders.
I think that's a common occurrence.
Because he had already had so many, but,
It's like, despite the fact that they're guilty for all these other ones, too. And, I mean, at least he said everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just, I guess they just get to a point where they're like, okay, well, we don't need to.
And his story, the evidence, the DNA, it all corroborated. And, it was all there. So they were like, he's already got all these life sentences.
He ain't going nowhere.
He's not going anywhere. There's no parole. So Gillis has been incarcerated at Louisiana State Penitentiary since 2008. And that's Angola, which is a very rough prison.
Yeah.
He is currently housed in preventative segregation at Angola due to him being a high-profile inmate and labeled a serial killer.
Yeah. And he like killed different races and stuff like that too. So it
ages, races,
he
like
wasn't
everything.
Like
he didn't have a specific type.
Like no type.
Yeah. It was young, old, black, white.
It didn't matter.
He was anything.
Yeah.
Like whatever the mood struck him, he was like, there it was.
Or just the fact that, oh look,
That looks like a easy victim, an easy target. Yeah. So preventative segregation is a maximum custody housing area, preferably like a cell, which may be necessary because the offender continued, their continued their continued presence in general population is a danger to the good order and discipline that's going on. So they don't want
probably
them,
a danger to himself.
Right, and to himself. I mean, Jeffrey Dahmer, he was killed.
Yeah.
He wasn't put in segregation at all.
Yeah.
So, his presence it poses a danger to himself, other offenders, staff, general public, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
At Angola, they have 2 tiers in Camp F, death row complex houses. 38 of the more egregious inmates and 78 or more are housed in Camp D for a total of 116. So they keep them
separated from everybody else. Yeah.
They're not able to do work detail. They're not able to mix in with the general population. So they're really isolated. Mm-hmm. They are able to, talk to each other and kind of have like a little bit of time out. But
nothing like the other prisoners.
So he was given a choice. He chose to be isolated. He didn't want to be in with the general population. So he ends up spending like 22 to 23 hours a day with no external like stimulus. There's nothing.
Yeah.
But he likes that.
Cancer.
Yeah. It says, when I was like reading the article, it says it's possible that Gillis isn't being affected by all of this with his life in prison because of his ego and his narcissism.
Mm-hmm.
So it really doesn't.
Yeah, I was sitting here going, how punished does he really feel?
Right. Like, not at all.
Sounds like he's like content.
What's the guy you did that like wanted to go there because he's like, oh, I can go
Blair.
garden. Yeah, Blair. Uh-huh. And he's like, oh, good, I love gardening.
Right, exactly.
And just content and everything.
Like, how do you feel like justice was served at that point? You don't.
Nope, not at all.
So yeah, I feel for the families.
Absolutely,
they've got to be like, this is BS.
Yep. And he is still there to this day.
Buschlager.
Even right. Living out his solitude life in a cell,
I mean, I love being by myself. So
I do too. I really do. But I mean, every once in a while.
So that's why I'm saying it wouldn't be a punishment. I'd be like, woo, alone time.
Occasionally, I do want to go out and like go to Target and get some Starbies or something. But
if I lived in a cell with my dog, I'd be like,
you're good. Like, can I have a comfy blanket? Some scented candles.
I can get books, right?
Right.
I can read
books, my pets. I'm good. Dang. I get you thinking.
I always go, I wasn't made for prison, but I'm like, when they start letting dogs come with.
Right. But maybe, preventative segregation, that's the way to go. But that's the, story of Sean Vincent Gillis. There's a whole lot more. There is a whole A&E documentary on him, Butchers of the Bayou, which also has your guy
Derek
in it
Todd
that
Lee
you're doing. There's lots and lots of interviews on YouTube of his whole confession, everything that he did. I didn't go into a ton of details.
So much you can watch.
But if you want to know more about him, absolutely go look him up. He is, like I said, right up there with BTK.
And there's a lot more stuff
He's
about
a monster.
Like his victims and their lives. And
yes,
I know the first one you were talking about, Butchers of the Bayou, they like a lot of family members actually participated in that one.
Right.
So there's stuff you can learn about.
Anne Bryant, yeah. And then I think it was it Hardy Schmidt's family also? They, they participated, and there were several others.
Yep. It's very informative. And also very, very sad.
Yeah. And he's very, very sick.
Absolutely.
In the head.
Well. You're
But
going to have to make the clip for this.
Yes.
With that part.
Yeah, I know.
Where we both did something Andrewski-like.
I know. It's Andrewski on TikTok. He also does reels, and he's on Instagram and everything.
All kinds of stuff, yeah.
He's also an attorney.
He's hilarious.
Yes, he is hilarious. Y'all should go look him up.
And all the women want to eat him up.
Yep, absolutely.
He's over there going, all the women love me.
He's a good-looking guy, but he is like the most down-to-earth, funny guy ever. He's also a very, his natal chart is very Aquarius. He has a lot of Aquarius in his chart, which means God complex. So there you go.
Well, that's why he's an attorney.
That's why he's an, yep, exactly. He has the God complex 100%.
So you'll have to tag him in our stuff just so he can be like, ha ha ha.
And if you haven't checked out Blanche Devereaux on TikTok, please
also
go.
Hilarious.
Yeah, welcome to my closet.
We can't even say the word welcome anymore without all of that.
Right.
You
trash.
Know, so many things. Right. We say trash.
She has merch too. Oh, speaking of merch, we have merch.
We do have merch.
We have merch.
No one's bought any of our merch. Right. It's been there for months.
It's on Printify. Hold My Sweet Tea. Go check it out. And we will put the link, as always, in the show notes.
Show noties. I don't always put it in all of them, but they're in there.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are too long and I can't fit it.
Yep. You know what I'd like to have? A coffee. Wait, we have Buy Me a Coffee.
We do.
But you don't necessarily have to buy us a coffee. It's just a little support.
We would love some help buying new microphones.
Yes. So we can sound a little bit better.
I mean, we sound beautiful.
Absolutely. I've gotten used to my voice on here.
But it could be better. The clarity. You could feel like you're in the room with us.
Yes.
You want to be in the room with us.
You do.
No, okay.
We're the best.
Ask Patty Salzetta, who created our theme music. She likes being in the room with us.
She loves us.
She will stop singing.
Yes.
To say, hey.
Right.
From the stage when we walk in. So, see, we're cool.
Right. And she sings with the band
called Wonderkind.
Yep.
She also does like some stand-in stuff for Petty Betty and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Lots of people like using her.
She's an amazing singer.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
And she's just fun to watch because she's so silly.
Yes.
She always cracks me up.
She's short and spunky.
Yeah. So go follow Wonderkind. It's WUNDER. And the word kind, spelled the way it always is, on the Book of Faces, where you can also be following us and sharing us with your friends and your family and the strangers that follow you.
Yes. And in case you don't know, we are called Hold My Sweet Tea.
Yeah. Everywhere. Everywhere we are, it's either Hold My Sweet Tea or Hold My Sweet Tea Podcast. Because somebody else used Hold My Sweet Tea like a...
Yeah. Like, go tell your mom and them. Like...
All of them. You go to family reunion, you'd be like, hey, you guys listen to this podcast?
And they'd be like, where you at? In Louisiana. In the South.
Yep. Come get some crawfish.
Absolutely.
Listen to the podcast.
I want some crawfish now.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's my bad.
It's all good.
Some spicy sausage.
Sausages.
But anyway, follow us on the socials.
Yep.
Send us messages there.
Absolutely.
You can also email us at steeped@holdmysweettea.com.
And Hold My Sweet Tea is a Drunken Bee production.
Bzz.
And you guys remember to stay safe out there. And just because we're dipping doesn't mean you can't quit. Keep sipping.
Don't quit.
Keep sipping. Just keep sipping. Bye.
Bye.